Today, we're going to be talking about life's a beach. Take that vacation with your family and friends.
Welcome to Widow's Peak with your host, Dana Holmes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Widow's Peak. I'm your host, Dana Holmes. And again, today we're going to be talking about life's a beach. So let's dive into some conversation and let's have a good time today. Let me do some self-checking. Today, I'm feeling okay. I have the happy face, but it's a little emotional for me. The month of June, just give you some background, the month of June brings a lot of emotional ups and downs for me and my family. June is his birthday month, as well as Father's Day, which he was one of the greatest fathers. So we've always made birthdays and Father's Day celebrations a big deal around here. So one thing you may notice if you follow the podcast is sometimes from time to time I do a check-in with an emoji that may be happy or sad or emotional. But know that I'm okay and I'm always okay. And the family's okay. But it's just kind of like a self-check-in. And actually, I want to thank everyone who followed through with sending me some sort of word of encouragement or emoji to encourage me. That was one of the highest rated engagements. So it goes to show you that authenticity of sharing those type of emotional emojis or just words of like how you're doing scores or I would say is more appealing to people than just an advertisement. So it just goes to show you that we're all emotionally attached in some way. And ads and pretty pictures and pretty verses are great, and it does capture our attention. But from time to time, it shows that people want to see realness. They want to know how that person is doing. So if you are a person who have lost a loved one, from time to time, just do a check-in, self-check, let everyone else know. As well as if you are a friend or a family member of someone who have lost someone close to them, like a spouse, check in on them. Maybe you send them a thumbs up. Hey, how you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs down, what we need to do to get that smile back on your face or keep that smile on your face. But either way, just do a check-in. Even if you haven't lost anyone, I guess you go through things as well. Could be the loss of a pet. Could be some challenges that you're having with buying that home or that car or the job. Maybe you're trying to move up the ladder and you're getting knocked down. So just do a check-in. Great. So today, the reason why I named this podcast episode Life's a Beach is because it is. We have those times, especially during this time, it's summertime, it's June, it's great, weather's feeling great, everything is going well. And typically the kids are out of school unless they're going through summer school. And it's time to plan or make those trips, those vacation trips. And if you're like my family, my teen is very, very active and involved with extracurricular activities. And then she went and got herself a job as a lifeguard. And so I have to plan around her schedule because we will be getting a vacation in. And the reason why I'd like to say life's a beach is because we put off sometimes doing those things, because we have other responsibilities and we're working and we're busy and we have hobbies and we have other commitments. And sometimes it might be financial strain. But there's always an opportunity, whether you have a staycation, a vacation, a domestic or international travel, do it. A lot of times we put that time off to, when times are better, or when I'm feeling better, or when I have more money in the bank. But I've learned that life is precious and is untimely, and it can be shortened, and it's unexpected. And so when I walk through my house, I am so grateful to see all the opportunities that we took time out of our busy schedules and work, and may not have had a whole lot of money to do a whole lot of things, but we made it work. And when I look back and my children are able to look over pictures and times, they're grateful because they see that timeline of when we went to Disney World when they were 2 and 3 years old, or when we took a trip to some adventure park or went camping. Those are moments in time that I think time stood still for us. And we're able to reflect and look back at those times and laugh and be happy that we were together as a family, and we did that. And we didn't put it off until they were old enough. Because, I hear people say that they're going to go to Disney World when their kids are able to remember it. And I really don't know how you pinpoint when your child is able to remember it. But I do know that there's something magical about that 2, 3, and 4-year-old, that when they see those characters and those princesses, they just light up. And seeing them light up makes me light up, that kid inside of me. And my husband and I, we found so much joy in bringing that to them and experiencing that with them. And so we've had multiple trips like to Disney World where we were able to see the progression of when they believed in those characters and when they just liked them. In this past spring, my daughter and I were able to return back there with her drill team, and I was walking the amusement park, Universal Studios and Disney World, and I could remember having my late husband right there by my side, or holding her hand, or explaining things to her. And I know she felt that as well. And so when we put those type of things off till tomorrow or next year or 10 years from now, and you don't have that partner there, or they don't have their parent there, that's time lost. So I say, take the trip. Take the trip. The bills will pay for themselves. No, be responsible with it, but carve out that time. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of money spent. Just plan it well. I never, talking to some other people who have lost their spouses, or talking to children who have lost their parent, I never hear them say, I remember when we used to sit down and do bills. I remember when you and Daddy used to sit together and do bills. Or reflect on those mediocre things, I remember y'all used to leave for work. Yes, that encourages children to have a good work ethic, and seeing you love what you do and be inspired to be that one day or do that one day. Yes, all of those things are great. And I'm not taking away from those, because sometimes the small things do matter when they see you doing those things. But what I am saying is, if you have a local beach, pack a bag, get your straw hat, and get your beach towel, pack some sandwiches, get some waters, put it in a cooler, take it up to your local beach, and have a great time. I am surprised how many people live so close to, the beach, and they say they barely go. I understand some people don't like water, they don't like sand in their shoes and, things like that. But once you get there and you hear those waves, you're able to relax. That's something that people who are landlocked, who can't get to a beach, they don't get to see. It's funny. I moved from Philadelphia and Maryland, by way of Maryland rather, to Texas 20 plus years ago. And I remember talking to people here in Texas who said they had never seen snow or seen a beach. And Galveston is hours away from Dallas. It's a beach. But it just surprises me that people don't take time out to value time, their own peace of mind in their family. Remember, life's a beach. So you don't know if tomorrow is promised to you. Enjoy it. So I was looking at, what are some things that people can do that may not cost a lot of money that they can do, because, we're from all different socioeconomic levels. And, I know there's a strain in the family, especially if you've lost a loved one, because you're down to one income, or you may have had to return to work. Camping. There are campsites somewhere, I'm sure, near you. Maybe an hour, 2 hours. For me, it's probably like 15 minutes from my house across the lake. But get a tent, borrow a tent, rent a tent, and take your family camping. You'd be surprised how many conversations will come out of that campsite. Toasting marshmallows on the fire and taking hikes and nature walks and maybe even fishing while you're there, hunting for your food. That would be interesting, because for me, I'd probably starve. But doing something like that, take the phones away from the children and the adults and have conversations. Those people that's across that fire have so many things to share, and you'll be surprised how much that teenager will talk when you're camping. Another thing you're able to do, they call it glamping, but a lot of campsites, they have now these indoor glamp sites, where it's maybe a building, it could be an igloo of some sort, but it kind of looks like a hotel, but you're out in the wilderness. You could do it in your backyard as well. Grab some pillows, some blankets, blow up mattress, decorate it with some pretty lights. Do it in your backyard. Hey, we're going glamping, kids. That's exciting. Trust me. Amusement parks. I don't know where you're situated, but there's amusement parks all over. It may be small, they may be big, and maybe a water park. But surprise your children, surprise your teenagers, surprise your young adult kids as well. Or even yourself. Grab a friend and say, hey girl, let's go to an amusement park. Let's let down our hair. Years ago, before moving to Texas, a bunch of friends and I, we got together. It was about 7 of us. And we went to Dorney Park or Hershey Park. It was one of those. I think it was Hershey Park. And all of our children, we had young children, but they were away. So we decided one day we're just going to have an adult trip to the amusement park. Oh my goodness, we had a bunch of fun. We were like kids in a candy store. We even recorded Friends by Whitney Houston. It was amazing. It was the most freeing time I remember in that period for me, because I had never gone to an amusement park without children or without being an adult. And everyone was at least the right height to fit on the ride. We didn't have to worry about height requirements and restrictions. So do that. Get that laughter back. There's other things like museums. If you're into history or museums, go to your local museums. Take a trip to Washington, D.C. The museums are free. You can take a bus ride, a train ride, you might even fly or drive. But all the museums in Washington, D.C. are free. You may have to reserve time now, but it's free because your tax dollars pay for it. There's also ballparks. I have an acquaintance that their family love ballparks. So they visit a ballpark several times a year, different ballparks several times a year. And they just explore the ballparks. I think they have to reserve tickets so they can go and tour them, behind the scenes and where the players are, their locker rooms and things like that. But it's something exciting that I believe her husband was interested in, and she also. And they got their children also involved. And actually, I think their children are grown and they continue to do it. So that, there may be a hobby or some interest that you have that you've always wanted to explore. And even maybe you may have had a mate that didn't like that. What's holding you back now? Take that time. Go do it. There are national parks. These parks are open to us and they're free. And there's so much to see. You have, the naturalness of it. You have flowers and gardens and falls and things like that you're able to see, instead of looking at it on television, National Geographic, or reading it in a book or magazine or online. You can actually go see it, smell it, touch it. There's animals that you haven't seen. We went to the Grand Canyon one year. Ooh. We actually went to Arizona, but we ended up, because if you've listened to my podcast, you've heard that my husband would supersize my trips or my parties. And so he had this idea, let's drive the Grand Canyon, up to the Grand Canyon. It's only about 3-4 hours away from here, which I wouldn't have thought of doing. But we did. And it was the most magnificent scene I've ever experienced. And that wasn't good enough for him. He also wanted to rent bikes. And they rent bikes and helmets, and we rode bikes. My daughter, he and I rode the bike around the Grand Canyon. Who, I don't know, thought of putting bikes on top of the Grand Canyon with the canyon so close beneath you? But they did, and it was the most exhilarating feeling ever, as well as frightening. And you're talking about Instagram pictures? It's nothing like that. But while we were there, we experienced some animals that I had never seen. I didn't know such thing as I think it's a deer moose or something like that, some combination. It was the most ginormous animal I've ever seen, but it was very kind. It just continued to do what it was doing, grazing. So those type of things, getting you out of the house, getting you back acclimated into life, not putting off things that you maybe always wanted to do or never thought you could do. There's ways to do it. We didn't have, again, we were two working individuals, but we prioritized a vacation. We worked very hard. Our children worked hard in school for those rewards. And so being able to take them to a beach, amusement park, a national park, a lake, camping, all of those things, and we have all those pictures that we can reflect on, brings me joy to know that I experienced those with him before he departed. And being able to expose our children together and having him there to protect or to advise was amazing. And I know my audience is not only young families or women, widows or widowers with young children, teenage children, but you have grown children and you're single, maybe no children. I am here today to talk about life as a beach because I want you to experience that life. I want you to, life is going to bring you those tides. Those tides come up. They wash away some of the beach into the ocean, and then they return back to you. And that's what life does. It brings you great joy and happiness, and then it kind of like washes away some of those grainy things that might be bad, but are also good. And it leaves you there with a footprint and memories of what was. And you still have life and breath in you to experience. And so don't put off those things. Don't think that you can't do it, I can't afford it. You can. It might take some sacrificing, right? It might take maybe less shopping online, fewer Amazon package deliveries. It may even take you suspending your subscriptions, your TV subscriptions, your cable. But do you really need it for those few months that you're trying to be out of the house exploring life? I don't think so. You'd be surprised how much you can do with so little. And there are websites. There's websites that I use to take advantage of these discounts. There's Hopper for airline tickets that you just type in where you want to go and the month that you want to go. And Google also has Google Travel, Expedia, those type of places, those type of sites, but you put it in and it then will send you the best rate for that time over a period of time. And the algorithm basically knows the best rate across the industry for where you're going. So it may say, this is the rate today, but in 7 days, you can expect it to decrease or increase. And so you take advantage of that. There's also, you can also do that with hotels as well. A lot of times you don't get the best rate going with an agent. And I know I might get some backlash about that, but sometimes those travel agents, they work with the commission. So you may not get the best rate by booking it with a travel agent, but you might get the best rate by looking online. Just take advantage of that. It may take some time, but you can find it. You can do it. As well as you have the annual memberships for your different amusement parks and water parks. You can pay one membership price that's going to be the same price as one entry. Yeah. Like the price might be for the day $69, but if you get a membership, it's $69. You just got to take advantage of the offer when they offer it to you. But that's how we do it for Six Flags and Hawaiian Falls and all the other types of parks that's in our area for the children. We just take advantage of that annual membership and you can go at any time. So I really, really, really hope that you take that time. There's non-traditional places that you can stay, like Airbnbs, hotels, of course. But have you ever heard about house swapping? There is a group. They're on Facebook. They're in on other sites that you could sign up to either be a house sitter, where you can go to someone's lake house, beach house, somewhere close to like a resort, and you could stay at their home for a stipend for like a week, sometimes even up to months. You're watching their house, you're managing their house, but you're also able to take advantage of all the surroundings, you know. A friend of mine, she does it, and her and her husband love scuba diving. So they go out to this beautiful island. It's not so touristic site, you know, where a lot of tourists go, but they go and they're living amongst the people who live there, and they manage that house. And I do use the air quotes. They manage the house basically while they're able to scuba dive. And it's one of the best scuba diving areas in the Caribbean. And they stay there for free. And actually, they get paid for staying there. But house swapping is another thing that if you live in a location, say close to a conference center or resort or a main attraction area, you're able to get on this, become a member of this site where you can swap your home for someone else's home. And it may be in another location where there's a lot to do in that area for a week or two. And you can take advantage of that, and you're not paying. So there's many, many ways you can take advantage of what's out here, you know, for a minimal cost. But for those of you who are not looking or considering the fact that, okay, I have some money to spend, I can do this thing. You know, it's different. I know, because I'm experiencing it. It's different to want to get out and enjoy the beautiful, you know, areas and vacation in these beautiful romantic cities or countries alone, because I too have been I had a partner who loved exploring and vacationing and sightseeing, and we shared that adventure. And so for me, looking at, okay, how do I do this now alone? How do I enjoy this time in Greece or Paris or Cancun or skiing and all these other places that I would love to be? How do I do it alone? You know? And so you look at, you find other groups. There's, you know, Black girls travel, or women who travel alone, or singles, and, you know, all sorts of different groups out here now that allow you to connect with people whom you may not know, or maybe a friend or two is involved in that group, and you're able to travel together and meet people that you wouldn't otherwise meet. That has that similar outlook on life, that want to experience life outside their doors, outside their city, outside the country, you know? And, or you may have a group of girlfriends or guy friends for you guys, but that, hey, let's go travel. Let's do this. Let's plan this together and have an amazing time away from the hustle and bustle of your normal day and responsibilities. Just enjoying life, just enjoying getting to know yourself outside of being that couple that you are. Hopefully, something I've said have inspired you or encouraged you to do that, to take that moment to think about this time. It's June right now. We still have July and August, you know, before we start losing this great sunlight and this beautiful weather. But take some time to dip your toe in the sand in that beautiful ocean, sea, or lake. Take some time to yourself to be able to reflect, and maybe it's a self journey vacation that you go on. You may enjoy going to a resort or a spa, a yoga retreat, a meditation resort, somewhere where you can reflect and find yourself or plan for that next stage. Some people use this opportunity to plan their future. What am I going to do? So you might go to a professional development conference, But whatever you do it so that your heart is fulfilled and you are able to experience life. Other people around you. Don't live on social media watching other people enjoy these things when you too can enjoy them as well. Hey, I'm here with you. I'm experiencing these things too. I'm reflecting on these moments of being solo as well. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from my heart. I want you to have the most incredible life that you have left, that your family have left with you. So enjoy it. Until next time, live your best life. You only get one.
Next time on Widow's Peak.
Join us for the next episode, Financial Freedom or Finance 101, here on Widow's Peak.
Thanks for listening to Widow's Peak. For extended conversation, head over to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to get alerts and sneak peeks on upcoming topics. Don't forget to like and share this podcast with your family and friends. Until next time, life is precious, and so are you.